Resident Evil Retribution. This film, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, not to be mistaken for Paul Thomas Anderson, who was a competent and amazing director, stars Mila Jovovich and Michelle Rodriguez and a bunch of other people whose names are irrelevant. I was a young adolescent child when the original Resident Evil movies came out in 2002, 2004, 2007, I think so. And I understand that the movies are terrible, but me and my friends enjoyed them. Now, I did not see the fourth movie, but is it really necessary for somebody to watch these in order and actually care? I don't think so. Alice wakes up in an aquatic underground Umbrella Corp facility, and she basically has to get out. And she meets one of these characters, this really hot Asian chick in a red dress, and they have to meet up for a rendezvous with Leon of Resident Evil 4 fame and a group of guys to get out of the facility in under 2 hours before the whole place blows up. And along the way, we have a little alien storyline, and the rest is just insanity. Now, you might be wondering why I mention Aliens, the great James Cameron movie, because this film tries to be Aliens for the second half of the film. Leon Kennedy is in this movie, and he has a pretty significant role. But does he do anything of significance and of importance? Not really. It's basically fan service. It's like, oh my god, Leon's in this movie? No way! Getting into the acting, I'm pretty sure everybody involved understands that this is not an Oscar-worthy film. So they're not going to act like they care. And everybody has fun for the most part. But the person who plays Jill Valentine, she's really hot in a blue latex suit. But her acting was terrible. Mila Jovovich, she is sexy, she's hot, and sadly, she is one of the most memorable female heroines of the last 10-15 years. And that's really sad, but it's true. And she doesn't do a bad job in this movie. She does what she's been doing in the last 4 movies. That's all I could say. I mean, nothing stands out about her. If she does her own stunts, I applaud her. But other than that, this is based on a video game franchise, Resident Evil, for those of you who don't know. And I never really noticed it that much in the other movies, but in this movie, it very much felt like a big video game. One big action sequence leading into the next, leading into some really crappy dialogue, leading into another action scene, and over again, just rinses and repeats itself. It was fun for the first 20-25 minutes, and it just got repetitive. Now, surprisingly, despite the fact that this movie is extremely silly and stupid, there are a couple aspects that were actually impressive to an extent. One, the opening of this movie is one big action sequence done in reverse. And I thought that was really a really neat way to open the movie and to set the tone. But then the exact same scene is ruined because 5 minutes later they played the scene they played in reverse for the opening in forward motion. It seems insulting because we already saw it, so why bother showing it again? It's filler. Now, what wasn't ruined is the fact that in this movie, there are different facilities, kind of like the Danger Room in X-Men, where there's different, like, destinations, but they're not really there. There's New York, Moscow, suburban area, and in the Moscow area, which is where Leon from Resident Evil 4 and a bunch of other people are, they have to fight these Russian zombies, but these zombies are able to wield guns and, like, control their mentality, and it made absolutely no sense at all, but it was really awesome. These characters have a goal to get out of this facility, and when they finally get out, the movie continues on. It just drags on with this really repetitive and just uninspired action scene, which by the end of it, you could just scream out, you could have ended this action scene 25 minutes ago. Because, obviously, these characters don't have brains, because what they do to solve this problem, this dilemma, could have been solved at the beginning. The filmmakers had to make this movie so contrived that they had to lead on this 15-minute action sequence that wasn't needed at all. I can point out so many flaws in this movie, but one more thing. This movie is called Resident Evil Retribution, but never once in this film is anything retributed. So overall, Resident Evil 5 is a stupid, silly mess, which is extremely contrived and consists of really uninspired and repetitive action sequences and a really cartoonish special effects feel that gives off a video game vibe, which could be a good thing, and sometimes it is. For the most part, it's not, and just it turns the audience off, and it turned me off personally. One good thing I can say about this movie though is that if you bring a big group of friends, this movie could become a comedy because you all could just sit there and just point out all the inconsistencies of the film, and it could be really hilarious. But if you go in with a friend or a couple or by yourself expecting to have a legitimately fun time because the movie is giving you that fun, it's not going to happen, because this movie does not bring any effort to bring fun to you. You got to bring fun to the movie. You got to put effort in, and when you have to put effort into a movie, it's never a good thing. The rating I'm going to give this film is 2 out of 5 stars because it's a terrible movie by all means, but I was never really bored until the end, and also the movie took itself way too seriously at points, which should never happen in a movie like this. If you've seen Resident Evil 5 and you enjoyed it or you didn't, let me know in the comments down below. I'd like to know what you think of it. What do you think of the franchise as a whole? Do you think it should end soon, or do you think it's going to continue for another 10, 20 years? God forbid, please don't happen. Please subscribe, like this video too, and check out my Facebook and Twitter accounts on my channel and like and follow those. I am John from Maffmanjones Reviews. We got Paranorman 3D glasses for this movie, which does not make sense at all, but the movie itself made no sense, so I guess that makes sense. If that makes sense at all to you. Sensually. See you next time.